He smashed you in the finger?
Yeah.
What do you have there in your hand?
A plane?
A flying eagle?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, guys.
Flaps.
We have had a little bit of a tough morning, all of us, all three of us. I like to pop up here around 7:30 Central, give or take a few minutes. And today I could not make it. Could not make it today. It's great to work from home and get up early to work when your kids don't wake up early. When your kids wake up early, it's almost impossible. What would you like to show them before I tell them the news? What would you, no, can you, where's your remote control car that's broken? Maybe they can help. We're trying to figure this out. So you guys, before we get to the news, I might have to enlist you in to help me fix the toy. Because in the middle of like trying to double check, foreign policy, I was like trying to fix the remote control car. Well, it's a huge truck. The fact that you can't find a huge remote control truck is crazy. We just had it all over. Where did it go? Did you try to bring it in your room?
I see it. It's not there.
Okay. So we have a problem that we need your help with. And then I promise you get to the news. Kind of an interesting intersection of news today. Okay, can we show them? Hold on. Okay, hold on. This is our problem. Let me hold this. So when Trace presses go, what happens? The wheels go. But wait, hold on. We're gonna put the car down. What happens, Trace? Try pressing it again. Press it again. Show them. It doesn't work. And we think there's a pressure issue. Yes. I can read a book. Can you give me, I need like 5 minutes. We'll read it in a second, I promise you. I'm just going to sit down here. Can I just hide on this little stair? I know, but baby, I can't read it right this second. Just give me one. We want to read. Do you know this book about Pierre? Oh, thanks. Hey, Trace, your dad. Okay, Trace, your dad says we need new batteries. What do you need to tell them?
Make you sick.
What?
Make you sick.
It's gonna make you sick? Oh, Pierre. It's the story of Pierre. Liberty.
Hey.
Yes.
Who said that?
I don't know. Can you? I just need 5 minutes. Can I have 5 minutes?
Because look at that face. That's my face.
I know. Okay, we're going to do the news quickly today because clearly
funny.
That is so funny. Clearly I have no time, right? Okay. So I think one of the important...
See this picture? It's a funny boy.
It is a funny boy. He did not listen to his parents, which is exactly what was happening this morning.
No.
Yes. And what happened to him? He got eaten by a lion.
She gets sad.
Yeah. Okay.
I love you so much.
Okay. All right. So a couple things I just think need to be on your radar today. Something in the immediate. 2 world events in the immediate. One overseas, one here. Something in the immediate that's happening is that in New Zealand, they're starting to have the funerals for the victims of that terrible attack at the mosque in New Zealand. In the meantime, in Turkey, the president there, Erdogan, is continuing to play the video of the attack at his political rallies as a way to kind of gather unity for his platform. There's going to be elections in Turkey at the end of this month. Obviously, this is bringing international condemnation because everyone's trying to get these videos off of social media. And even these huge social media companies are trying to figure out how to get it off, because that's going to be a story I'm going to look at actually later today. Is once that video is out there, it's hard to get rid of it. But to have a leader of a country, a NATO country, use the video to his political advantage, some say it's crossing the line, which we probably would agree. Can you imagine if anyone did that here, played the video at the rallies? And he's doing it to talk about, in a context that's also referring to a different battle in World War I, and he's trying to reframe it as a battle between Christians and Muslims, and it's it's ratcheting up. I think that should be on your radar. Australia's Prime Minister said that all options were on the table to deal with this situation in Turkey, and these sort of comments, what that means, I guess that means all options are on the table. But just a point of contention that could be avoided, right? So continuing to watch what happens in Turkey, because it's an important country geographically, it's an important country strategically, it's a part of NATO alliance as well militarily. There's a lot of reasons to watch what's happening in Turkey. So that's going on. In the meantime, closer to home, I saw a headline from the Associated Press last night about a man dying in U.S. custody who had been arrested crossing the border. He apparently is the fourth person to die in U.S. custody in recent months. He was being treated at the hospital after being arrested for crossing the border illegally due to flu-like symptoms. The reason why I think you should know this, hold on one second, is that I actually, if you dig a little, Liberty, hold on one second.
I just want to hold you.
I know, come here, sit with me then. Whenever I see a headline about customs and border protection, I like to go and actually look at their press releases because they do a really good job. Baby, please come here.
No, I just want to hold you.
Well, then I need you to sit right next to me.
No.
Yes.
I don't want to.
If you go and look at their press releases, they're very consistent about putting out information with a very clear message. And so the press release that they put out yesterday was about 400 people being arrested at the U.S. southern border within 5 minutes of each other. So on the one hand, you're getting one story about one man dying in U.S. custody while being treated at an American hospital. On the other hand, you're getting another story of 400 people being arrested within 5 minutes of each other at the border in El Paso, Texas. So very different pictures. The Border Patrol is saying, listen, this is what's happening. We are being overwhelmed. We cannot keep up with this. And this is a consistent message that they continue to put out there. And they said, again, the dynamics of these groups, one group was more than 250 people, another group in a separate location. So you think about that. You have 400 people coming around the same time, but in different groups. So Border Patrol is splitting up. You have one group that's 250 people. You have another group that's about 200. So it's more than 400 people that are coming. A lot of them unaccompanied minors and families from Central America. So that's still going on. Okay, I know that took a little longer to get out, but that's, I think, we're not really talking about, when it's not a political issue, hot potato, no one's talking about it, but this is still very much happening at the U.S. southern border, so I just want that to be on your radar. Something just to mark today. Today, I was looking at a couple stories. One of the things that we do with quick quotes is we like to just have some stories that we think should be on your radar that just deserve like a little something before we dive deeper. And I was looking at a couple stories that I didn't know how to turn into a card stack. And then I realized it was a very interesting kind of week in news. Today in history was the day that the Iraq War started. Early morning, March 20th in Iraq. Thank you. But there's several anniversaries that happened this week about huge world events.
Mommy.
Huge world events that happened years apart, but just days away from each other in the end of March. So the Iraq War began March 20th, 2003. The Syrian Civil War started unofficially March 15th, 2011. And Russia took over Crimea on March 18th, 2014. So I thought that was interesting that just within a few days of each other, all of these events happened. I don't know what's going on in late March. I don't know why that's happening. But I just took a real brief look at that, a couple different items about why these...
Mom, the timer's going.
why these dates matter and how they sort of restructured world history and world events. Obviously, you can't cover everything that you want to cover in the limited space that we have, but because all of those things are significant world events, but also connected in many ways. You have similar players or actors in each. I thought it was important that you take a look at it. And maybe you find it interesting like I do that I don't know if we should be on alert at the end of March for big events. I don't know how it all happened around the same time. So, you know, one thing I was thinking about, and there's several things to pay attention to. But in Syria, you know, I think it's still interesting that President Assad is in power. Despite everyone saying that he was going to leave, he was not going to make it. He's continued to be propped up by Iran and Russia, and he was able to survive the challenge to his leadership, despite even using chemical weapons, and America saying that was a red line that if he crossed would definitely lead to his demise. It didn't happen. That's one thing I think you should know about Syria. In Iraq, I think you should know that Iran continues to be a major force in Iraq, and especially in the question about Iraqi leadership. Iran was a major force during the Iraq War that maybe we didn't necessarily talk enough about, trying to really support the leadership in Iraq or the insurgency against America. And Iran continues to want to gain influence in these different, in Iraq as well as in Syria. And then finally, when it comes to Russia, one thing we didn't get to on the site, but I always think this is interesting, is remember that there was a passenger plane with innocent people flying from Amsterdam to Malaysia and Russian-backed militants during this battle of taking Crimea from Ukraine shot down that plane. And I don't want to say nothing happened, but, you know, after, you know, some sanctions, and that's about it. So, you know, you kind of see these world events, and you see different red lines drawn, and let's not get into the politics of that right now, because a lot of these decisions are made in reaction to other decisions, and that's great for like a long podcast debate. we don't have time for that right now. But you know, it's such a unique decade to look at, 2 decades to look at. And so I just wanted to take a little snapshot of that. Okay, final thing just to let you guys go. Just final thing before I let you go. On this day in history, the first woman won the Iditarod dog race in Alaska. That race just finished up, and a native Alaskan won this year. But she had a great quote. She basically won the race in 1985 by deciding to race into a storm. And she says, well, you know, that was my decision. I knew if I made that decision, like I wasn't turning around. And then she won the race. And she did it in record time. So I thought that was kind of a cool story. Iditarod is called the last great race, you know. I mean, think about the elements out there with the dogs. It's pretty cool. So that's one thing I think you should know about. And also another inspirational story, a woman that started a beauty blog. You might be familiar with the brand Glossier. She basically developed a beauty brand online that now is reportedly valued as of yesterday as being more than $1 billion, worth $1 billion. One of the things she talks about is just really listening to her customers and making sure that she's providing a product that they need. Wow, that's awesome and terrible at the same time. I know I should have done that a long time ago, right? So anyways, that's sort of the philosophy that we would like to adapt in Smarter News, to be constantly listening to you guys, making sure that we're giving you what you need. I'm not sure if today actually did that with all the kids yelling and screaming, and but hopefully on a regular basis we're doing that enough that you feel supported. All right, today, first day of spring. That's right. And I read something, I didn't get a chance to fact check it, so I'm just going to throw it out there, that apparently every day this week we're getting a couple minutes more of daylight, of course, until the longest day of the year, which is in June. But if you start really thinking, wow, it's really lighter later, it really is lighter later. All right, guys, have a great day. Please let us know if you'd like us to cover any other stories, info@smarternews.com. Direct message me. By the way, always, if you want to support us, if you go to smarternews.com, you can get some Smarter News gear, which we really appreciate as we're trying to figure out what's kind of next for this big brand. All right, guys, have a great Wednesday. I'll talk to you later.